Okay, so we are starting in Torah Beis, Siv Zayin we are. So basically till now he explained, there was a whole arichas where the explanation was like this, that the main weapon of Mashiach, and that's from every Yid, is tefillah, praying. A person is not mesugel to be zoiche to tefillah, to merit tefillah, as long he's not masik. It means he doesn't reach the madrega of shmiras habris. And even a person that is shomer the bris, and he's roichesh, it means he gets the strength of tefillah, he still needs the tchuna of mishpat. Mishpat is the judgment where the person has to know to point his weapon right, meaning to say, because sometimes a person could pray for things which are not really in favor of the person, and the person will get it because he prayed for it, but it's not in the favor of the person. Now, in order to reach the real judgment, a person should have the wisdom knowing for what to pray. He needs to give tzedakah. That's why you give tzedakah before tefillah. Yes, the Gemara says Yav Pritiloni Mafle, because through tzedakah he explained it at length here in the Torah, which has the ability the person to reach mishpat. Yeah, now, in the opposite of that, the biggest disturbance of the person of tefillah is the machshavas zares that the person has. Is all kind of thought that disturbs the person from davening. It comes because of the person has somewhere twisted the judgment. It doesn't have the right judgment. Now, in order a person should be sure that his prayers are being niskabel, he has to connect himself to tzaddikim, because they have the ability and they know where to be mala the tefillah to the right place. So it's the concept which one of the main concepts of Hasidus is always about it. It's the part that Hashem created the neshama of the person. Adam Rishon was the main neshama. Yes, he was the first person, and he incorporated his neshama, incorporated all the neshamas. Now, what happens later on throughout every generation, the Gemara says that so there is always in every generation there are tzaddikim, but there are few of them, not too many. But the way the souls of the person is set up, it's like there is the head, there is the hands, and there is the feet, there is the body. So the same way the neshamas are also set up. And that's why you'll see people, everyone gearing and trying for different things. There are people who are there to help people with their thinking process. They're smart people, they are giving good advices. That's basically what they keep on doing. Therapists, let's call them whatever they are. They're here to help people with their mind. And now there are people who are just physical. They run around. They try to do a lot of collecting money. Now there are people who are there who go run around to hospitals. They run all kind of organizations, Hatzalah or wherever they are. They are doing physical chesed, right? So every person has the thing that pulls him towards a certain direction. And it's a very interesting thing what I saw once, the Rebbe Strasheller. He was the biggest Talmud of the Balatanya, who wrote the Tanya. So he said that the Balatanya had been Makabel from his Rebbe, which was the Maggid of Mezrich. Maggid was Makabel from the Baal Shem Tov, and Baal Shem Tov, as we know, the Baal Shem Tov was Makabel from Achia Shaloini. There's a Kabbalistic concept where a person, there's like a Lianovi comes down to the person, learns with the person that we know, or a Mal, and all of them had the Lianovi learn. That there's sometimes certain tzaddikim azoichet have certain neshamas to reveal to themselves, and they learn by him. So B'Shem HaKodesh was learned by Chia Shaloni. So he said that today's time, the neshamas are mixed up, and that's why you have people that have different periods of their life where they try to do certain different things. There's sometimes they want to join a chesed group. Sometimes they want to be volunteers. They have all kind of because the neshama is not a straight neshama where it has only one thing one mission in life. It has all kind of components to itself. So it depends on what type of the year they are in, what type of time. That's where the neshama pulls the person towards a certain, and he has a certain. It's very interesting. And mainly, we look around. There's all kind of these organizations. There's the Jew always has the need to do something and contribute to the world, even secular. We're not talking about it because it's the neshama, it's the soul of the person which is unhappy and needs, there's a need, what it needs. Anyway, so the way the setup of the neshama is, there's the head, there's everything. So for the neshama to get its food, like the body of the person needs a food, so there's the neshama also, the soul of the person needs food. What is the food of the neshama? The neshama is Torah, we'll learn, right? That's the food for the neshama. The neshama the person feels happier when he learned, versus when he didn't learn, there's some certain emptiness, a hollowness in the person, which he doesn't feel like, something he can't maybe pinpoint, but there's something that he feels like there's something empty in his life. But there's also another concept that in order for a person, in order to be able to get the full energy that a neshama needs to get, is by connecting to the tzaddik, which is tzaddik is the head. They are called the einai, they are the eyes of the people, and they are the head of the people. And so when a person connects, because the tzaddik is connected to Hashem, so that when a person connects to the tzaddik, he gets a certain energy that a person gets. It's like to better explain it, we'll try to explain it maybe in a little practical level. I might be wrong, but let's just get the idea out of it. It's like let's see for an example, we sit over here and we talk for some reason, like very calm. All of a sudden someone comes in, he's full of energy, full of life, and everyone all of a sudden gets like into this mode, like everyone gets uplifted and everyone feels like something is there. So they can't maybe pinpoint what happened, but this person had so much energy to himself that he contributed energy to all of us. We all got like fired up. It's like it's not exactly the way he moves, the way he does things, and we all like get into his energy, right? So this is a little explanation to understand, but it's not so with the tzaddik. But when a person really connects to the tzaddik, that's when a person has the ability to get out of the energy from the tzaddik, and also when the way when he talks over here is about tefillah, that we have the ability to connect tefillah, we have the ability to connect to our tefillah to Hashem, and to daven the real way, the right way that we want to daven.
Where do we find tzaddikim now, though? I mean, it's
Right there.
now people they take a little bit from this person, like seems different than in previous generations.
Right. In a way, it is different because we are now at the bottom. Before Mashiach, the time of Mashiach, for the time of the Mashiach, there's a process. Every year that passes by is not coincident. It's a plan, a godly, divine plan, exactly what still needs to be achieved. So we are now at the lowest. That's why we have, on one hand, the whole universe is uniting. We are uniting through internet, we are uniting through media, we are uniting through planes, we are uniting through Europe is becoming one. Slowly, everything is uniting, because that's what's going to happen. Mashiach will come, the whole world will become one. The only thing which will be needed is there's Mashiach to reveal himself, and everyone will like fall, let's call it in love for him, and will surrender. Right? So, but also it's, in the other word, the evil, let's call it the dirt, all this porn, all these problems that are around, are in a way also much deeper than it was beforehand. It's like, why is it so? Because we are now basically purifying and taking out the netzoitzes from the lowest parts of the world. So in a way, it's while I sit here, yeah, we can Bluetooth, we can send over messages, there's a lot going on in the air that we weren't aware of it before technology. So we're basically making use now, let's say, all the websites and all these Jewish websites where people learn Torah on it, people unite to Hashem through it, and all kind of emails, a positive email where people send each others of goodness or kindness, whatever. So we make use out of waves, out of everything of the world. So we are now at the lowest part. We are making use now of every part of the world. And not only think about business. You look at business. Business is now, we do business mainly not only in the United States, we do business now with the whole world. We have things coming from all over the world. We have Jews actually running factories in China, Singapore, Malaysia, you name it, wherever it is, right? So it's basically what happens is we make use, and over there are millions of Gentiles, which they had their fathers and their parents all throughout all the generations. and the reason why they're able now to work for this Jew, and this Jew takes this money and donates it to a yeshiva or does a mitzvah with it to buy the esrik. So you're basically elevating the whole world. So there's a godly, divine blueprint exactly for the world. It's not just a year past, just coincidentally. It has a plan, and there's something over here. So that's why, in a way, the tzaddikim are also in a way lower now. Till recently we still had very big tzaddikim. Now it's like distinguishing in a way, but in a way we all are becoming much higher, because the fact that we have the ability to sin is now at the reach of our hand, and versus when I was young, we need to go to buy Cadillacs, we need to go to certain places. Now you basically sit with your phone, you do whatever you want to do, almost, right? So, and when you don't do it, you prefer sitting here and learning and trying to get some Kabbalistic and Hasidus ideas or whatever. So in a way you are elevating now. So you're taking now the time that you could have been doing this and doing good versus, so you're deriving the sparks, the hidden sparks in the world. So, and it's also a part of godly plan, because it was always like this. There was always, the Jews were always the minority. But still, the Torah says, Ki atam amat, you're always the minority. You'll never become the majority till Mashiach will come. Things will turn out different. But till then, we're always the minority. We stay, we survive. They try to distinguish us always, but we still survive. But we are the minority. But this minority has the biggest power. And through our Torah that we learn, through what the mitzvahs that we do, through tefillah, we are basically doing very big things which we can't see. If we would have been able to see, then there wouldn't be a choice. Everyone would have been doing it. So that's why we have the choice. And yes, sometimes we fail. But as you said, try and fail, but never fail to try. That's basically what we keep on doing. So he says over here in Torah, in Oizayin. So the Chol Torah, all the Torah, you have it over here? Chol Torah, she'adam loimet. So the Torah that a person learns, lishmoid velasis. The reason why he learns Torah, because he wants to be able to know the laws, how to actually to do it, to practice it and do it. So kol oisias, all the letters, the alphabetical letters that in Torah is actually hem nitzoytze neshamas. They're actually nitzoytze neshamas. They are nitzoytze sparks of the neshama of the person. And when a person davens afterwards, they get like into a garment. They are like get clothed in the tefillah of the person. They are being mechadish. They are being Iber is like a pregnancy. So it's like a baby which is pregnant, the fetus which is in the mother's stomach. So this sparks of the Torah, when a person davens, gets into the person, gets into the tefillah, and it's like a pregnant woman which carries a child. It's the same as with the Torah. So he explains. We'll explain it a little bit further. So he says, "V'zeyu." That's what the pasuk says. Hashemayim misaprim kvoid kail. So the heaven is saying the kvoid, the glory of Hashem, Haina Torah. So what is Shemayim? Shemayim stands for Torah. She eish imayim. Shemayim is actually, Rashi says in Chumash, Shemayim is a combination of two words. Eish, what is Shemayim? It's a combination of fire and water, which are together. You're right, Rashi. You remember that, Rashi?
Oh, just thinking about it now. It's great.
So Heine Bechinas HaNeshama, which that actually the Bechin of the Neshama of a person. The Neshama is also a combination. It has the fire in it, has the pleasure in it. But it's in a ruchnius sense. We'll play boim. They all come b'toichat tefillah and tefillah. So there's a concept where he explains it's the Neshama. It's hard to explain, but I'll try to. Let's get a little understanding. Let's say when you look at a program in the computer, right? So you see the writer of the programmer writes X, Y, Z, whatever, slash, dot, whatever, everything. So all these alphabetical letters over there, they are not just letters. They're actually part of a maker of a program, right? Which this program has this and this ability to do. So he says that the neshama, the sparks of the neshama, that's basically the combination of the Torah. So when you say Torah, you reach the sparks of your neshama which are there, and they are uniting when you daven, and they elevate themselves when you daven.
How I see the Mayim. Where's the Aish? In Shemayim.
Shemayim, where's the Eish and Shemayim?
Yeah.
So there's actually number one. There's a physical fire, right? When you go up, when the shuttle has to pass this hot. How is it named? Yeah, the atmosphere. So that's just an example of. But it has also to do in the ruchnius. Everything that we have in the physical is also has to do with ruchnius, meaning to say there's also a concept of. So there is the concept of fire. There's a fire in every ruchnius thing. So Kmoshikosef Simi Kavoit Tehilosoi. So it says Shemayim is Mesaprim. Shemayim is telling us the glory of Kale. So we see that Shemayim is standing for Kavod, right? But over there he also adds that the Torah is also Simi Kavoit Tehilosoi. So Tehilosoi is prayers. You praise Hashem, and you see Simi put Kavod. So the same as I said, Meshamayim is telling us the Kvoit Kail, which is Torah, which Torah is a combination of Eish and Mayim. So as we said, the Luchas was Eish Choyra Gab Eish Levana. That's what the Medrash says. Was fire, was black fire and white fire. It's all metaphors also, but it has some kind of explanation. But that's Bechinas Tehilasi Echtem Loch. So that's the beginning of Tehilasi, the prayers. Echtam is like it's like a nose, but he says it's like a but what he means to say over here also. In the beginning of the Torah, he says that tefillah has to do with the nose. It means to say of smelling. Smelling, he explained in a much higher level, just a simple smell. It stands for Mashiach, which Mashiach also has to do with smell. Hashem. It's the ability of smelling. Smelling is the very ruchni. Smelling is the most ruchni of the gashmi. Meaning to say that it's the thing that you could the least explain what it is. It's like very little physical. A smell is something which is more like it's molecules actually. It's like something that it's not so physical. You look at food, so it's the ruchni of the gashmi. So it's also describing about Mashiach, about the neshama, it's tefillah. Tefillah, it has to do with that. So it says, so Shemayim is a Shemayim, which is his Torah, and it's telling Kavoit Kail. That means the Torah is being malabish, he says, in the tefillah. Now, the neshama is in the tefillah. The neshamas, the sparks with the tefillah, anikre kavod, they're called kavod. Hashem, why is it kavod? Hashem shimalbeshes asanu. Because it's basically, we dress that. It's everything. Garments are called kavod. Why is it called kavod? Because why do people dress in certain ways? Some people like to dress sporty. Some people like to dress more official. Because it gives a certain respect on the person or a certain image for the person. So that's called kavod. So the Emor says, Rabbi Yochanan was calling his clothing. His garments, he clothed mechabdusa. They are the ones who are basically respecting him. Valdaizen nikris, and through that it's being called kavoit kail. That means the combination. What happens when Torah reaches, touches the neshama with tefillah? When they unite, that's called kavod. Why? Because the kavod of Hashem, the glory of Hashem, is being elevated when the hidden sparks have the ability to rise up and rise back to Hashem. So that's what he says. Vehein meirin zelazeh. Torah and tefillah, which are two different things. Like this Torah that we'll learn, and then we'll do the prayers. But they're one giving one to the others. Hanashamas meirin la tefillah. The neshamas are lighting to tefillah. B'chinas halos mai nikvim. Now this is a very deep Kabbalistic explanation, which is called halos mai nikvin. Mai nikvin is an explanation for something that's let's say there's emotion. Yeah, so there's two types of emotion. There's emotion that a person has the ability to arise and he's waking up his own emotions. Now there's sometimes where someone else, an external power, is waking up the emotion of that person. So when it's the person that he is himself the one who elevating his emotions, at that point it's called Mayan Nukvin. It's like a nekeve, it's something from the bottom. So what happens is when a person davens, the difference. So there's a difference of Torah and Tefillah. What's the difference? Torah is something from above. Torah, Hashem gave the Torah. Tefillah is prayers. Prayers is the person elevates himself to Hashem. He's trying to do the connection. That's something that's from the bottom up. It's from down up. So that's happening. So the neshama of the person is lighting to the tefillah. V'atefillah ma'ira lehan shamas. And now we have the tefillah is lighting to the neshamas. So he says what happens is in that point. What happens is like this: when there is awakening from the person, from the neshama, from the bottom. What happens is when there's that awakening happens, you are getting from the above. Let's give an example. So let's say there's the rich person. The rich person sits there, and now then there's a poor person that comes to the rich person. So sometimes there's the time when the rich person makes a wedding. He's in a very happy moment. So then he's the one reaching out to people. He goes around distributing money to everyone. He's so happy that he's the one. So that's called the person from the above. He's reaching out to the bottoms, right? But there's the normal circumstances with that the poor person, will go to the rich person. He will ask for money. And what happens then? He has the ability to say the right words, which the heart of the rich person melts. And at that point, he decides, you know what? Let me give him the money. Let me give him what he asks. So what happens is, and every time when the above, the bottom one is awakening, tefillah, that we try to connect, we pray to Hashem. At that point, we have the ability to get from above things that we wouldn't have get otherwise. So that's basically an explanation what happening over here. So what happens is, so there is a combination of Torah and Tefillah, and now everyone gives for the others. So what happens is, when you daven, you learn and you daven, then you have the ability to reach much more that you would have just reached just with Tefillah itself. You got the point? You got the point? Is it clear?
Tefillah comes from us, Torah comes from Hashem. So one's top down, one's bottom up.
In a way, right. So what happens is, so when you daven to Hashem, and when they unite, so what happens is, it unites the above and the bottom, and then you reach more than you got beforehand. So that's it's like, as I said, it's very deep concepts, and it's Kabbalistic concepts as well. Huh?
That's so deep. Seems pretty basic.
Okay, then it's fine. Then we can continue.
The tefillah is Gematria 515, right?
Okay.
You say Yitzchak and Rivka together is 515.
Okay.
So Sarah with the Yud, because originally she was Sarai.
Right.
So if you add Sars, Shin, Resh, Yud, and Hey, because she ended up with a Hey, you get 515.
Okay.
There's just different Gematrias of tefillah.
Right.
And they say that Hashem listened to Rivka's prayer, no?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Hashem listened to Rivka or Yitzchak?
Yitzchak.
Well, listen to Yitzchak, because Yitzchak was praying that Hashem should answer in the merit of Rivka.
Okay, yes.
Right. But he, like you were saying earlier, nobody knows really what to pray for.
Right.
You're supposed to pray in general that Hashem, you know better. Just
right.
Whatever is supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm. Right. Beautiful. So let me just finish over here. So we finished from Milshomas, Ham Leboshim Betfillah. Those Neshumas, not in this park, when they get in garment into the Tefillah, Hamavoz the Tzaddik Shebedar, when they are being brought afterwards, because we know that the Tzaddik is elevating all the Tefillahs. So it has the ability. It has the ability, which really talks about the time of Mashiach. But basically, what happens is when he reaches. So when this happens, at that point, the tzaddik is being mis'aleh, and that point, then the tzaddik has the ability to point the tefillah to the right point.